Good evening, Billy. I hope everybody's feeling great. Well, all I can say is America has a value system. And I just put out a video on the parallel transfer of the God we trust into digital currency in a bank. So, using that analogy and the Bill Gates driven, Chinese balloon oriented, dragon family approach of a 5-bedroom Airbnb non-invasion to a point of marrying a U.S. citizen and then starting a business where Americans are going to protect Americans, back to what I just said a minute ago. So here we go. I've done my best to tie it together for you. I feel it's my job. Okay, smooth transition. We like it. Please play.
Done. We will also provide unprecedented transparency and security for the source code for the TikTok app and recommendation engine. Third-party validators like Oracle and others will review and validate our source code and algorithms. This will help ensure the integrity of the code that powers what Americans see on our app.
I missed the first part.
We will further provide access to
the
researchers,
whole quantum
which helps them
financial
study and monitor our
system of
content
security
ecosystem.
interlocking
Now, we
with
believe we are the
TikTok.
only company that offers this level of transparency. Now, trust is about actions we take. We have to earn their trust with decisions we make for our company and our products. The potential security, privacy, content manipulation concerns raised about TikTok are really not unique to us. The same issues apply to other companies. We believe what's needed are clear, transparent rules that apply broadly to all tech companies.
Whoa.
Ownership is not at the core of addressing these concerns.
Earth dollar, crypto?
Now, as I conclude, there are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform, and we know we have a responsibility to protect them, which is why I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok will remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent.
Look at the guys
and
in
we
the
will
back.
give access to third-party
Sledgehammer. Look
independent
at
monitors.
That's a Saudi. Has got to be. Look at that. And this guy.
I'll be grateful for any feedback that you have.
Where's he
I
from?
look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
I mean,
if you watch a game and you watch a player.
All right, so there's Kobe Bryant. All right, I'm going to try and pause this because I want to get this at the beginning.
Generally, if they're right-handed.
Let's make some
I know I'm burning time, but I found it. I'm just going to arbitrarily start here with these congressmen because it's hilarious. The irony is incredible of these cannibals.
And their statements to government as somehow exculpatory. I've called them out on this in the past, and it's unfortunate that I have to do it again.
Dana Carvey exculpatory.
He goes on to say, and I quote, "We even speculated about possible mechanisms through which the Chinese government might use unconventional techniques to obtain TikTok user data via pressure on ByteDance." End of quote. Mr. Chu, you sent Congress
ByteDance is a parent company of TikTok
as a support to the claim that China cannot access user data, U.S. user data. And now this lab has come out to say, we never said that. That's misleading. Mr. Chu, I hope you understand what that is. That's misleading. Mr. Chu, this is yet another instance of TikTok attempting to mislead Americans about what their technology is capable of and who has access to their information. Madam Chair,
look at the crowd.
Madam Chair, I would like to respond to that.
Like they know each other. This is one of these friendly conversations.
Without objections.
With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair yields to the gentleman from Maryland. Mr. Sarbanes, 5 minutes.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Chu, I'm going to pick up on a theme we've already covered here, which is the effect that your platform, along with many other social media platforms, by the way, has in terms of mental and behavioral health in this country. I won't speak to what's happening elsewhere in the world, but we've talked about the impact that it's having on children, on teens. We took some action last year in this committee to try to improve access to resources. We authorized critical programs to address mental health needs, but we need to do even more than that.
Pornhub in
and
schools?
we got to address what the big tech companies like
Elon?
TikTok are doing, because those are platforms that expose children, teens
Neuralink?
to additional risks.
Ping pong?
The more time that
Ketchup?
middle and high schoolers spend on social
Mustard?
media, the evidence is the more likely they are to
Vegetable.
experience depression and anxiety. And this is
Ketchup.
particularly troubling since apparently 16% of American teenagers report that they use TikTok,
Oh.
quote, almost constantly. That's, I think, about 5 million teenagers in this country that are on TikTok all the time.
I find
And we know
that
that big tech,
statistic to
including
be
TikTok,
like
uses
questionable.
design features that can manipulate
Well,
users,
this is just
including
me.
children and teens, to keep them engaged, designed to
I
feed
wish
them
it to be known
a
that
never-ending stream
TikTok
of
can
content, keep
go
their
away
attention
because
for
it's
hours
tied
on
to the
end,
Red Dragon.
which includes capitalizing on the
Put that
desire for
on
others'
the Ever
approval
Divas
through like
Res-
features, preying on the fear of
Yeah,
missing out through push notifications and so forth.
Yes.
Again, you're part of an industry that's set up to do this. You, in
Oh,
some
captains
sense,
have
don't appear to be
industries,
able to
and
help
Congress
yourselves
gets
in
elected by
reaching out and
secret
finding
votes.
that new
Where are
user
you
and
from?
then holding onto
Oh
them.
my God! Don't tell me it's Maryland.
TikTok itself has acknowledged
What's your
that
name?
these features and
Shaham?
others, like the endless scroll feature, can have an outsized effect on
Sarbanes?
teens. And we've been discussing today how your app only intensifies that harm
Sarbanes.
by amplifying dangerous content and misinformation. I don't want to be
Columbia.
too paternalistic here, because we have young people in the audience. We've got TikTok users that are watching this hearing.
Glenn
and
Burney.
I'm sure they have their own ideas
Baby,
about how
that
this
is
technology
NSA
is being
Central.
managed by
Whoa.
TikTok and other
That's his
social
district.
media platforms.
Ooh. Ooh.
They like to access the platforms, and they should be
Whoa.
able to do that safely.
Yeah.
So it's certainly in their
Ooh.
interest, and they can drive this conversation, I think,
Drive.
perfectly well. But it's not a fair fight, is it? I mean, the algorithms are on one side of the screen. The human brain is on the other side of the screen, drowning in these algorithms. In many instances, at an age where the brain's not even fully developed yet. So those addictive impulses are being sort of perfected by the technology. And again, it leaves the users sort of helpless in the face of that. Are you looking at ways to redesign core features like the ones I mentioned to be less manipulative, and addictive for users? And can you commit to making some of those modifications here today?
Congressman, thank you. We do want to be leading in terms of safety of our users, particularly for teenagers. We were the first to launch a 60-minute watch limit.
Yeah, let's talk about the 60-minute launch.
And I'm very glad to see people, others in our industry follow. For many of the recommendations, we'll study them very seriously. We actually have a series of features. Like, for example, if you're under 16, you cannot use a direct messaging feature because we want to protect those younger users. If you're under 16, you cannot go viral by default.
This day and age.
If you're under 18, you cannot go live.
And let me go back to the 60-minute limit.
I like Gab TV myself.
Because my understanding is that teens
I like the owner. I like the style. Gab TV. Gab.com. It's my number one lifetime membership. God bless everybody who just hit 9/11.
Smarter than we are by half.
Time on my target.
They know how to use the technology, and they can get around these limits if they want to. Are you measuring how many teens continue to exceed the 60 minutes of time on that app?
Up to
We
Delaware.
understand how that's working.
We understand those concerns. Our intention is to have the teens and their parents have these conversations about what is the appropriate amount of time for social media. That's why we give the parents what we call family
Let me
pairing.
ask you this question before I run out of time.
Really be
If you concluded that putting some reasonable limits in place and trying to find a way to enforce them would lead some percentage of your users to leave TikTok and go somewhere else. Is that something that you're prepared to accept?
Yes.
We
Really? Well, I'd love to get the research on how these limits are being implemented,
Why?
how they're being
G.I.
bypassed, and the
Joe.
things that you're taking,
We Army.
measures you're taking to
No.
address those issues
Navy.
going forward. Please bring that information
Oh,
back to our
please,
committee
that's
as we
Navy.
move forward.
I'll be happy to.
Pointing
I
there.
yield back.
Gentleman
Please.
yields. Chair
International
recognizes
state
gentleman
line.
from
Bend
Kentucky,
over.
Mr. Guthrie, for 5 minutes.
Roll over.
Thank you,
Bend
Madam
over.
Chair, for yielding. I appreciate the time.
Salty
Mr.
dog.
Chu, your terms of service specifically state that TikTok does,
terms.
and I quote,
Life
not
is
allow the
short.
depiction,
It's over.
promotion, or trade of drugs or other controlled
Oh my
substances.
God.
Despite this content
What's
being
his
against your
name?
terms of service, and I brought this up with other service providers, but despite this content being against your terms of service, content on your platform related to
This
illicit
guy
drugs
believes what he's
like
saying.
fentanyl, drug trafficking, and other illicit activity is pervasive and racks up hundreds of
And
thousands
the only man that
of
can
views. For
comprehend
example, in
more than
2020, the
him
Benadryl challenge
is him.
resulted in the death of an American teenager. And we heard of another one, challenge earlier today, that brought the death of a teenager. While you were at ByteDance, if you were the CFO for ByteDance, did Doohan allow related
tab?
illicit drug trafficking or challenges
tab.
resulting in death or injury to kids?
Right.
Congressman, I represent TikTok here today. I can tell you that TikTok does not allow illegal drugs content on our platform.
Does Doohan do it in China?
I believe they don't allow this, but I will need to check. I don't run their business.
So this is my
I can tell you
question
TikTok
is-
does not allow
Look,
this.
So what
why
we're
are they
concerned about
hostile
it,
to
and
him? What kind
My
of
guess,
questioning
and
is this?
would
This is
Doohan allow
profiling.
for 41 days a threat against
His
a
wife's
member
a
of the
U.S.
Chinese
citizen.
Communist
I'm
Party
just
to
arguing
stand
for
on their
him
web-
and
on their
Fauci
site
at
for
the same
41
time.
days.
And
Again,
I'll
I
win.
cannot speak for Douyin, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second part of what you said.
Well, that we had a threat against the chairman of our committee that was on your site for 41
Trump
days. My
warned
guess is that would
everybody
not be
about
allowed in
TikTok,
China.
and I guess,
that content
Trump's
is-
just
if it's
oranging
violated,
it
I'll look
out,
into the
going,
specifics
hey,
and I will-
look, I told ya.
If it violates our guidelines, it will be taken down on TikTok.
We got
Yeah,
three
surely it
branches to
appears that
fuck
it does,
around
but
with
the problem
this.
is that what I'm trying to get
This
at
is
is
Congress.
you seem to be able to prevent this content in China.
Let's
But
have a hearing.
So not even taking it
Term
down, just
it.
prevent it from being posted, and yet
Posted?
it's
My
on your
picture?
website. So I have a couple of questions about
Wiener's wiener?
You said earlier, as soon as you find
Derek
this information,
Bros.
you take it down. So how quickly does your algorithm detect keywords or
No,
content that
you
involve
gotta be
illicit drug
fast, man.
trafficking
TikTok.
before these posts are self-reported or used by others?
What
We
time
have
is it?
about 40,000 people working on this now, together with the machines that we train. I don't think any company in our industry can be perfect at this.
The machines
This is a
that
real
we
big
train.
challenge for our industry, but our goal is to get
Quantum.
any violative content, including illegal drugs, down to a very, very small
Financial
number.
system.
That's the problem. When we have these
Lock
hearings, we
in
have
with the
CEOs
digital
of
man.
different companies and of your colleagues and competitors, and we always hear apologies, and we always hear
Competitors.
we want to do better at this, but it
He's
just doesn't
just
seem
a
to keep improving. And we see
colleague.
stories of our children and
digital
and obviously that's been
world.
talked about today. So how many posts
Government.
and accounts have been identified and removed from TikTok
With
due to
an
content
American
posts
accent
posted
of, you
related to
know,
illicit drugs or other
authenticity.
controlled substances?
Congressman, we do publish that in a transparency report. I can get my team to get the information to yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, we understand
teams need
that
to
the way
talk.
that people use TikTok or other platforms
The
similar to
teams
yours is
talk.
that they ensure flag
He
user
knows that
content
the
isn't
teams
permitted
talk.
to jump from. So my question, so what we've
There's a
heard is
teamer.
that the instances the user see a drug advertisement and then
What-
give a
where are we
code
going in,
to go to another site.
is
So
this
my question is, do
Saigon
you work
this
with other
time?
platforms to
No.
ensure flagged user content isn't permitted to jump
Let me
from
think.
one platform to
Oh
others?
shit, it's
I
China.
will check with my team. I would love to work with our industry to make sure that
Door
we stamp
67.
out these problems.
They got the clones in
violative
there.
content should not be allowed
I
in
never
any
knew it
platforms,
hit
in my
me.
opinion.
They got it
Well,
on
so what's
footage.
kind of frustrating
But I
to all
got
of
this
us here
job
is that we
'cause
look
I'm
at what's
smart.
happening on your
In
sites
fact, I
and
passed a
others,
lie
and
detector
particularly
test. I
that
just told
we
them the
know,
truth. I'd
because
do it
we've done
again.
research that you can't have access to illicit drug information others on Douyin,
What's his
which is a sister
name?
company, as you say, in China.
I shouldn't
And
be
so
so
it
unfair to a
absolutely,
man who
if you
won't
can
make
prevent
eye
it on one
contact
and
with the
not the other,
camera.
you obviously
He's
have the
shy.
ability to stop it from
He's
moving forward,
caught.
and yet you don't. Would you like
This
to
is
expand
a
how
advanced
one of your
boss.
sister companies can prevent that?
Oh,
and
he-
you not,
oh, he
I know
flicked.
you don't represent Douyin,
Oh,
but they
back
don't
to him.
allow it, but it happens on your platform. What's the difference?
Referee.
First of all, the majority of the content on TikTok is fun, entertaining,
Where do you find that
informative,
man
and
in
very
civilian
positive for our
life?
users. Like other companies
at
that
the
operate
guy
in this
behind
country,
him.
we have to deal with some
Ah,
actors
mother
who come and
It's
publish
the
some
Twin Towers
content on
of shame and
illegal
lust.
drugs.
Ah,
Just
drugs.
don't seem to be able to access
Frontage.
Douyin.
Oh, no,
TikTok
we're
US
interested.
experience should be
TikTok
compared
experience,
to other
drugs.
US companies because this is
Ah,
common.
US
But your
companies.
parent company has the technology
Cook.
to prevent it because you prevent it in China, but you can't prevent it here.
Prevent?
What's the difference? That's why I'm asking.
Ping
Well,
pong?
Congressman, there is no technology that is
Pandas?
perfect in doing this.
Kissinger?
We have to deal with the reality of the country that you were
You
operating
gave us
in.
everything.
And here in the United States,
You
as
gave
with
it.
other
Hillary had a
companies,
server.
we share
You
this
see,
challenge.
bleach blood her.
We are investing a lot
Big
to address the
bleach
challenge.
blood,
But
but we got it.
it's a shared challenge.
You
I
invest
speak-
a lot
I
to
speak
seem to
English.
be able to address it in China, not here.
Allow me to clean
Again,
myself up.
I think the comparison must
I
be
am
within
a
the single
pseudo-white.
country. We face the same set of challenges here in the
What's the
U.S.
difference? I'm sorry, I'm out of time, but what's the difference in China and here?
Let me give you an example, Congressman. In my home country, Singapore, there is literally almost no illegal drug content because Singapore has very strict drug laws.
Caning. Remember
Thank you.
that.
My time's expired now.
You
Yield back.
picked it up in Taiwan.
Gentleman yields
I mean,
back. Chair
Singapore,
recognizes
baby.
the
That
gentleman
remember
from
that
New York, Mr. Tonko, for 5
kid?
minutes.
Thank you, Madam
That
Chair.
runaway who
I'm
got
concerned that
caned.
TikTok's algorithm plays
Nine,
out vulnerable people,
Domino's.
including those struggling with addiction,
Pizza.
eating disorders,
Oh,
and
who do
other
we have
mental health
here?
conditions. The platform is designed to push content to users that will watch more frequently and for longer periods of time.
Oh, he's
Unfortunately, for many people suffering
sedated.
from certain mental health disorders,
Yes.
videos
Rayburn.
that reinforce their fears or negative self-image are more engaging.
Tongue.
On top of that, TikTok
Wait,
has
is it
received
Tonto?
sensitive patient health information and records of browsing
Paul
activity
Tonto
from multiple
is talking
telehealth
about
companies
TikTok.
like BetterHelp,
From New York, of
Help, and
course.
Cerebral.
Albany.
People's personal
Cerebral
struggles should not
hemorrhage.
be fuel for TikTok's
Fuel.
profits.
Profits.
People should be able to seek help
Pick
to address
words.
serious medical concerns without being afraid that their information will
God,
be
please.
shared with social
Get the
media
Zoom on
companies
this
trying to
properly.
push more products,
We need this.
services, or content
Freaking
at them. So, Mr. Chu,
Chu.
will TikTok continue to get information from
Chu.
third parties on its users' health,
So it's
including
Xiao
their
Shu.
mental health? Yes or no?
We will continue to work with experts, yes, if that's the question,
Will,
to identify these
will
issues.
you continue to get information from these third parties, including their mental health? Yes or no?
Congressman, I'm sorry, I may not understand your question. If your question is if I'm working with them on these issues, the answer is yes.
It's not the question, it's will you continue to get information from these third parties on its users' health?
Get information. We do not get any user health information from third parties, Congressman.
You've talked a lot about user privacy and safety. Will you commit here today to no longer using data about users' health, particularly their mental health, to push them content
This is like,
or
you know,
sell ads?
Bill Gates is
Yes or no?
being questioned.
We take our users' mental
At
health
Y2K.
very seriously.
Yes or no?
As far as I'm aware, we don't do that, Congressman.
Like
It's
when he
what
couldn't
the-
understand.
So
it's
the
not what
answer is
business
no,
is.
you'll no longer use data about users' health. TikTok systematically exploits users' anxieties by pushing alarming
How do you know?
and distressing content onto
You read
their
about it?
For You page.
Or are you
For
on
example,
there
in
trying to
May
get
of
laid?
2022, the LA Times
Being
found that some
dismissed by
pregnant
the Chinese
users
clones
searching for
even.
information about their pregnancies
You wear your
on
pants
TikTok
up around
were
your
then
nipples.
shown information about
You're a
miscarriages,
dwarf.
stillbirths, and
He's a
delivery
dwarf.
traumas. Your company knows
Stand
that
up.
distressing content
Get on the
has
desk.
the perverse effect
Ah.
of feeding user
You
engagement.
sick bastard.
And for TikTok,
Ah.
engagement means money.
Yo, how much were
In
you
the course
paid
of a week, what percentage
This
of
is a
content
freaking
that a user
French
sees
kiss
is considered potentially harmful
from a schlep
or
rock
distressing content?
to a dragon?
Congressman, we work with a lot of experts on this.
Yeah, get down.
Even before we set the 60-minute time limit for under 18s, if you spend too much time on our platform, you can try it. If you
Smoke
spend too much
your
time,
ass.
we will actually send you videos to tell you
Ping
to go out
pong,
and
you're
get some air
fucking
and get off the
overspin
platform.
and
What
you'll
percentage of
daddly do.
content that a user sees is considered
Then your
potentially harmful?
dwarf ass off and
I
get
would
you
need
off
to
the
follow up
table.
with my team and
Bruce
get back to
Lee
you on
can
that.
play ping
Because
pong with nunchucks.
I will need to follow up with my team.
So are teenagers in particular shown more distressing content?
Oh, who are they?
The opposite is true. We actually
my-
put in
where's
more
my water boy?
restrictions to make sure that our teenagers get a better experience.
Are expectant or new parents shown more distressing content?
Oh,
I know of many
Am I a
parents,
new dad?
including one I met recently, who
Woody
actually use
Allen?
our platform to find communities.
look
to
at the
connect
guy
with
in the
other parents
back.
and
He's like,
learn a lot more.
what the?
I've heard
Come
amazing
on.
stories
I
of
got a good
creators who
seat.
have difficulties.
pass
you
it
know,
over
they're
this
trying
way,
to find-
please.
Are individuals
Who's-
with eating
huh?
disorders shown more distressing content?
Oh, this is
We
great.
do not. We remove
still
all
under
content
time.
that glorifies eating disorders. And
No.
we've worked with experts to
Oh, Karen
look at certain
Carpenter.
inherently
That poor
certain
woman.
content that may not inherently
Anorexia,
be harmful,
Karen
like
Carpenter,
diet
oh, bring
trends,
me
and make sure
down.
that we disperse
I
them more
love
throughout our
that
algorithm.
girl so
What about
much.
those
She's
with
my
mental
8th
health issues?
grade.
Are they
This is
She was
a
Saint
issue with
Karen.
content?
If
brother,
a user searches
survivor,
words that expresses
the
mental
twin. I
health
think
issues,
they were
we actually
twins. Dear
redirect them to a
God,
safety
have
page.
mercy
Like, for
on
example,
us. We're
if
coming
you,
up on
I don't know if I should say this
1959,
public. If you
baby.
search, I want to die, we will
Die.
redirect you to a safety page, for
Oh
example.
my God. Die to safety.
So what about those suffering from
It's a
addiction?
net.
Are they given more distressing content?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Congressman,
Give
I
me a
missed that
good
question.
Those
agonizing
suffering from
question.
addiction, are they given more distressing content?
I missed the first few words. I
Like,
apologize.
oh, we don't have a metric
What
for
about
that,
those
you
suffering from addiction? Are
zorf.
they given more distressing content?
Those suffering from
Addiction.
addiction. Do you mean drug addiction or?
Yes, or any order of addiction.
If people search for content and you can try on a variety of subjects, we will actually direct you to a safety page to give you more resources. And a lot of recovering addicts have actually
Safety
found the communities on TikTok.
is
It's really
quarantine
helped them,
of
find their voices and the community and the
the
courage
box
to really overcome their addiction. I personally
of
have heard
the
stories of that.
cuckoo's nest.
I appreciate your
And
answers,
the
but I was
chief
looking for yes or no, and we
chewed
did not get
juicy
those.
fruit,
And again,
knew
I
the
think
shit,
the
and pulled the
more that they
goddamn,
watch this distressing
jack out of
content, the more
lobotomy, and he got
profit TikTok
out.
makes, and that's distressing.
And this man wears his pants at his nipples. Whoop!
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Wahlberg, for 5 minutes.
Oh,
Thank you,
baby.
Madam Chair.
Give it
And
to
we're
me.
glad that you're here, Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu.
As Chair Rogers and Representative Burgess mentioned this morning, the Wall Street Journal reported that China will
Burgess.
firmly oppose any forced sale or divestiture of TikTok. And this is based not on
Energy
conjecture,
and
but it's
Rayburn
based on
office building.
comments provided by the official
Man, you
spokesperson
are
at the Ministry of Commerce, who said
slinging
that
it.
any TikTok sale or spinoff would amount to a technology export and would have to adhere to Chinese law and approval. This spokesperson was quoted
Three
as saying the
Rivers,
Chinese, and I quote, the Chinese
Cold
government
Water,
will make
Jackson.
decisions according to the law. The Chinese government. Mr. Chu, do you agree with this official?
Wahlberg.
Yes or no?
Congressman, I cannot speak on behalf of a Chinese government official.
Do you agree with that official?
We will need to look at this because Project Texas is designed to move forward here
I
in the
missed the
United
question.
States, and we are
I
not
hope you
discussing
heard it.
this, so I don't have specifics.
You know, your company is valued at upwards of $50 billion.
I'm
It
jealous.
has been on the verge of forced sale or ban for 3 years at least, correct? Do you expect this committee to believe you haven't already discussed this scenario with your team? And you should have an answer to this, yes or no, I agree with the Communist Party, or I don't agree with the Communist Party. So, I guess I would say at that point, you disagree with the Communist
In
Party.
signing off, I want to
Explain your
just quickly
discrepancy.
say,
Congressman, for 2 years, we spent $1.5 billion US to build
Okay.
Project Texas.
that's pencil erasing money. The United States Congress signed a document given to China at the end of World War II. Every one of them signed it, surrendering to the Chinese People's Democratic Party of brown shoes. Pete Shoemaker, the war is over. Congratulate him, and let's ascend together. While these guys all look in the direction of him, Pompous, Scrulius. Okay, peace and love. I'm going to try and do this and say, we're going. I love everybody. I'm the first crusader, man. And Albert went out, and I love Harry, and his mother's alive. Peace.